What's going on, guys? Trav here, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, let's talk some football. Today, we will be going over my Super Bowl 60 predictions, winner, MVP, the whole 9 yards, as well as we will be going and taking a look back at the NFL playoff bracket I made in the previous football prediction video, or I guess NFL playoff prediction video. Spoiler alert, didn't do too great this year. That's no problem whatsoever. This video is going to be structured relatively similar to how I did the college football national championship prediction video, which, by the way, called the champion and the correct final score when I made the video originally. Pretty sick. And overall, I have Indiana winning it all. So shout out to me, of course. I know ball. Apparently not for football. Before we hop into that, I just want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for all of the love and support on all of my videos recently. I really appreciate it. Again, can never thank you guys enough, so thank you guys. Now, let's hop right into the video. So I will put the actual bracket that I made and the correct/incorrect picks up in this corner of the screen for review, and let's go over it. So my NFC, absolutely terrible. I got one pick correct, and that was the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl. Everything else was incorrect. Not great. Didn't do great on the NFC, did do great on the AFC. Of course, I had a ton of bias with me being an Eagles fan. It is what it is. I realistically did not expect to win the Super Bowl, but I thought for content's sake and just for fandom's sake, I had to pick my team. You know what I mean? I will say this, though. The other team that I wanted to win besides the Eagles, and I was very vocal about this with my friends, I don't think I mentioned this in the first video, but the other team that I wanted to win besides the Eagles was the Seahawks. So I'm glad that they are at least have a possibility of winning the championship. And now let's talk about the AFC. I was so close to being perfect. I just got two wrong, I guess. I got the Patriots losing to the Texans wrong, as well as obviously the Patriots not being in the Super Bowl, with them beating the Broncos, which, don't get me started. Huge Bo Nix guy, love Bo Nix. Huge Broncos fan too. I wouldn't say they're my second team or anything, but I'm definitely rooting for them. Shout out to my boy A. Lee. He realistically got me pretty involved in the Broncos with us just trolling each other back and forth over our teams and fandoms and stuff, but definitely started liking the Broncos because of him, so wanted to put that out there. And obviously I was rooting for the Broncos. My hierarchy of teams winning the Super Bowl was Eagles, Broncos, Seahawks, and then Texans after that, I guess. I don't know. It kind of just drops off after that. Of course, the actual Super Bowl matchup is the Seahawks versus the Patriots. And you might be wondering, one, Trav, who do you think is going to win that? And two, you just said you're an Eagles fan. Why are you wearing a Jets jersey? Well, let me explain that to you by turning it around. That's right. I'm wearing a goddamn Sam Darnold New York Jets jersey. And if that doesn't tell you who I think is going to win the Super Bowl, I don't know what more will besides me outwardly saying it. The Seahawks are winning Super Bowl 60. And my GOAT, Sam Darnold, Super Bowl MVP. Just put your house on it. Put your money on it. I'll never be wrong. I very well could be wrong, but I'm a huge Sam Darnold fan. That's why they were if the Eagles aren't in the Super Bowl and the Broncos aren't in the Super Bowl, I want the Seahawks to win. And they were realistically the third team that I was rooting for. Of course, I would not root against the Eagles in that situation if the Eagles were to play the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, but I was rooting for the Seahawks every step of the way and extremely excited that they are in the Super Bowl. And I'm really hopeful that my GOAT, Sam Darnold, walks away with a ring as well as a Super Bowl MVP. Okay, so technically this is an editor's note because I just finished editing the video and realized I forgot to add all of this in, as well as I also technically just recorded this video, but the audio didn't record for whatever reason. It is what it is. Let's talk about why I actually think the Seahawks are going to win, because of course I did not talk about that in the original video. 10 out of 10 YouTuber Trav. Great job. I got blinded by the Sam Darnold love, so I apologize on that. But let's get back on topic. I believe that the Seahawks are going to win because, well, they're just better. They have a top 5 defense, depending on where you look on the internet, and don't want to discount the Patriots. They have, I think, top 6 to 7 to maybe 8 defense, depending on where you look in the league. So the defense is good, and I feel like that the defense has been carrying this team, at least in the playoffs and maybe as well as in the regular season. But they definitely also benefit benefited from a cupcake schedule. Now, both of these teams, I would say, had not the hardest schedule, but the Patriots schedule is very laughable. And Drake, the schedule May, was at the helm of it. Now, let's talk about their schedule because this schedule is absolutely hilarious. There was a graphic on Twitter that went and broke down all of the teams that they played this year and different circumstances surrounding those teams. And we're going to talk about that now and go over that schedule because I personally find it hilarious and I think you guys will too. So Drake, the schedule May this year faced week 1, a fired coach. Week 2, a fired coach. Week 3, you'll never guess, a fired coach. Week 4, the NFC South, which is one of the worst divisions in the NFC. Week 5, another fired coach. Week 6, the NFC South again. Week 7, a fired coach. Week 8, a fired coach. Week 9, a fired coach. Week 10, the NFC South. Week 11, the Jets. And the Jets are terrible, and the Patriots play them twice a year. And I get to say the Jets are terrible because the Jets are my second team, and I'll get more into why later in this video. Week 12, they played the beat-up Bengals, where Joe Burrow was injured and the rest of the team was absolutely terrible. Week 13, fired head coach. Week 14, bye week. So they had their bye week towards the end of the season. Week 15, fired head coach. Week 16, fired head coach. Week 17, the terrible Jets, who I believe also fired their head coach, but I don't remember if that's true or not. I should probably know that. And then finally, week 18, fired head coach. So overall, absolute terrible schedule. Had a cakewalk to the Super Bowl, and even in the playoffs, their playoff schedule was super easy. They played in round 1, notorious playoff, I was gonna say choker, but he's not really a choker. He's just bad in the playoffs. The if man, Justin Herbert, who put up only 3 points. In the divisional round of the playoffs, they played the Texans, and that was the turnover bowl, where I believe CJ Stroud alone had like 4 or 5 turnovers, and it seemed like every other play, one of the two teams was giving the ball away to the other team. So that was an absolute terrible game. And then finally, in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl, they played the Bo Nix-less Broncos, led by Jared Stidham, who has not had snaps, I think, since 2023, I want to say. And they only barely beat them. They squeaked by that victory. As a whole, I feel like they just haven't really played anyone. And I personally am hoping this Super Bowl will expose that. And the Seahawks, led by Sam Darnold, who, in my opinion, greatest quarterback of all time. Better than Brady, better than Joe Montana, better than whoever you think the GOAT is. You want to go with even Dan Marino, 16-0, perfect season? Nah. Give me Sam Darnold. Obviously, I'm kidding, of course. I think he is a very serviceable, good quarterback, and his last 2 years have been outstanding. So I'm extremely excited by that as a huge Sam Darnold guy, Sam Darnold is my favorite non-Eagle player in the entire league. But also, they have JSN, and I forget what their tight end's name is, but he's really good. They just have been unbelievable as a offense and just absolutely routing teams in the 2 games they played in the playoffs so far. So hopefully they keep that up in the Super Bowl and expose the Patriots. I just can't have the Patriots win another Super Bowl. And I just think that the Seahawks are better as a whole. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the editor's note. Again, I apologize for missing that in the first half, and I'm going to get back into talking about who I think is going to win the Super Bowl MVP. Well, I think I already said Sam Darnold, but I'll go over a couple other things. Realistically, I think the only 2 people that could potentially win Super Bowl MVP on the Seahawks are Sam Darnold and JSN. On the Patriots side, someone would have to do something extraordinarily special for Drake May not to win, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, a huge Drake May guy, in the sense that I like him as a player, but I will be avidly rooting against him and rooting for the GOAT, Sam goddamn Darnold. The GEQBUS, just in case you're wondering. And if you don't know what that means, that's the God Emperor quarterback of the United States. Yeah, that's right. Sammy D, baby. My mom's side of the family is from northern New Jersey, and they're all Jets fans, so the Jets are my second team. I root for both the Eagles and the Jets, and then when the 2 teams play each other, I root against the Jets and for the Eagles, obviously. But in every other form of game, I'm rooting for the Jets, and in my lifetime at least, hasn't been a whole lot to root for, that's for sure. Hopefully, the doom and despair of the New York Jets will end soon, but I fear not. I fear not. But overall, that has been my Super Bowl predictions. I got the Seahawks winning. I got Sam Darnold Super Bowl MVP. I got Tails, I didn't mention this before, but tails on the coin toss. Tails never fails, baby. Tails never fails. And I got a final score of 31-20 Seahawks. Absolutely very possible that all 4 of those come true. We'll see though. I'm not feeling as great about those predictions, at least the coin flip and the final score prediction, as I was with the NCAA college football championship game, but there was only one way to find out. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. And if you want to give me your Super Bowl MVP, go for it. I assume that I'm going to post this video Sunday morning, probably around 8 to 10 a.m. So hopefully you guys watch this before the Super Bowl. And if the Seahawks do win, just know I'm going to be ecstatic and super happy. We'll see though. We will see. And fingers crossed again for Sam Darnold, my GOAT. With that being said, that pretty much wraps up today's video. If you guys did enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. I do my best to post at least 2 new videos every single week. Again, let me know down in the comments what your predictions for the Super Bowl are, and I would love to hear from you. Hopefully you guys are also rooting for Sammy D. I could understand that you could be a Patriots fan. Realistically, can't have the Patriots win another one. They already have 7 or something like that in the last 20 years, 25, 6 years, something like that. Can't have them getting to 8, or maybe they have 6. I forget. But they have a lot of Super Bowls, more than they need to have, that's for sure. Thank you guys again so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, it's been your boy Trav, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Later. Go Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold season. Sam Darnold is my GOAT. I trust Sam Darnold with every single living bone and fiber in my body. Sam Darnold.